joining us on a super special 9th anniversary holiday bubble show on Two Guys and a Lot of Wine. I am Bobby P.
And I'm Rocky Holland.
And behind me, my two lovely guests for tonight, blowing bubbles as we celebrate bubbles. We have Ms. Sarah Rice.
Hello.
And of course, everybody knows Essie LeBreau, our wonderful town clerk. And we are going to be doing some new things for our bubble show this year. This is our 9th bubble show.
We should congratulate Essie. Just
Geez, I'm so sorry. Yes, of course.
Oh, thank you.
Her position.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Congratulations, Essie. Sorry to cut in there.
I should have done better.
Now we can
I
celebrate.
was so
That's why
eager
we're
to start
doing it.
drinking. But we are going to be doing something, a lot of new stuff different on this show that we haven't done before. First of all, we're doing 5 bubbles, and I don't think we've only done 4 in the past. And we have some surprises from Essie. Essie's looking forward to teach us some things. And Rocky's going to be talking about something that he did last year that may or may not have worked out or will work out in the future, his savoring.
Oh, yes. Actually.
So everybody loves bubbles on the holidays, right, ladies?
Yes.
So, and there's all types to choose from, Rocky, in the store. As you and I both know, you don't have to spend a lot of money on a good bubble. Now, we might have some dogs here tonight, but I doubt that very much if we're going to have any dogs here. So we're going to start off with one of my choices that I think, Essie, you had it at our Oktoberfest party, the Borasaka Cava Brut. Very, very dry cava. And I tend to like dry cavas. I'm sure Rocky does too. Easy to drink. The flavor is a very light profile. It doesn't overpower anything that you're going to be snacking on. Really, really good. Why don't I pass that bottle down to you, Rocky, before that?
Thank you. Now, can you talk about the difference between a cava, prosecco, and champagne?
Cava's from Spain.
Okay, and prosecco's from Italy,
And Prosecco's from Italy.
and
I
champagne
think
is.
Cava is the one that's made in the more traditional.
Cava is made in an area of Spain called the Penedès. It's made from, I believe the grapes are called Xarello and Macabeo. Usually they can throw some other stuff in there, but those are the two key ones. It's made in the same method that champagne is made in, which means the fermentation that creates the bubbles is actually done in the bottle, which is a more expensive way of doing it, but it's actually it creates a better product versus Prosecco. They don't infuse the bubbles in a bottle. They put it in a giant tank and they do it that way. And then once the bubbles form, then they bottle it. So
And I find you get a little bit more of the
abridged
yeastiness
version
in a cava like you would in a champagne, other than you would get in a prosecco. So, cheers, guys! Very fine bubbles
Cheers.
on this.
Yes,
Really nice
it's
little
got a
bubbles,
lot.
which you'll notice in a flute glass. Cheers! Happy early 2020. That's very refreshing.
I do like this.
What do you think, Sarah?
It's a little dry for me.
Oh, are you a sweet?
I am sweet.
That makes sense. You look sweet, so you can do
Oh, Bobby.
Got to butter up my guess. 'Cause I don't want them to give me thumbs down here on the first one. But I know a lot of people, some people do like them sweet. I find that if it's too sweet and you're eating a lot of salty treats, I don't think it, for me, it doesn't work as well.
I think this is a good toasting.
It's a
beverage.
This is it's tart, very tart grape.
It is tart.
Have you ever had? We had white Rioja on here. The grape is called Vieira, and the Macabeo. That's the same exact grape. They just call it a different thing. But if you remember, it was incredibly acidic. That's the flat version of most of what's in here.
I would probably say to the audience, it's kind of Granny Smith apple-esque in a way. It's got that tartness
Yes,
to it.
I can see
yes,
that. I can see that.
taste that. Yeah.
But it's definitely not a sweet bubble. So if you lean towards the sweet, you might not like this. If you like it very dry and tart, this might be for you. This is available, I think, from Total Wine in West Hartford. I think it's between $10 or $12. It's a great value. It's a great value, and I think it's a great holiday, whether it's New Year's or Christmas or whatever you want to celebrate. I think it's a great table starter thing.
Yeah, Spanish wines in general, in my opinion, are some of the best bargains that you can get in wine, and it would make sense that their sparkling version is one of the best bargains that you can get. So,
We're going to be going into Rockies next, as soon as the ladies and Rocky finish their bubbles, because we have a lot to talk about.
yes, I was a little long in the tooth on the last episode, and I believe we were going to rate everything at the end, and we kind of ran out of time. So
We just got a
I
little
was just
technical.
fumbling around, right? I think I judged.
We'll
I
keep
learned a
wrong
lot,
when it
though.
was
I
just-
learned a lot.
We'll
about
keep it light and funny for the new year, and I'm really looking forward to some of the things Essie's got to show us too.
So how many bubbles do you think are in a glass of champagne?
I'm going to guess somewhere between 1 and a million.
Now wait,
I don't even.
how did you find
couldn't
this
even
out?
wager.
Science, there was a science website and there was actually scientists that investigated this.
And an actual, I guess an average glass for bubbles or champagne would be 4 to 6 ounces?
For champagne, yeah.
About 4 to 6?
Typically.
I don't know if I go
I
a
believe the
million.
answer is 3,000. Is that correct?
Huh?
3,000?
No, it's a million.
A
A million.
No.
There's a million bubbles in the glass, yes.
No,
Rocky
I was
nailed
off
it.
by
Yes,
a
you.
lot, yeah.
No, you said up to a
No,
million.
you
so
said a
you were
million.
Close,
Between 1
you were
and a
close.
million.
But,
million.
and
That was on
there's
the upper end
the
of the
size of the
budget.
bubbles matter in different kinds of
Correct, that is very true,
champagnes
yes.
too. And the larger the bubble, the more aromatic it is. The smaller the bubbles, it's more flavorful.
We'll
I
probably
think.
notice that as we go down the line, because we actually have some real champagne. We have a French rosé, and the Lambrusco is going to be interesting to see
Yeah,
right there.
I'm trying to remember. I think Prosecco has bigger bubbles, but we don't have a Prosecco here today, do
We do not.
I would like to actually compare glass to glass if we have time. to do
I'm
that.
going to start pouring down this end, Rocky, if you want to talk about this Lambrusco that you brought in.
So Lambrusco comes from Italy. I believe most of it comes from the Lombardy region of Italy. And when you think of Lambrusco, you think of the giant jugs from the 1970s and 80s that were like 99 cents, and you
The
would
color.
pour it over ice, and it was disgusting. Lambrusco has come a long way since then. And they've really done some work into getting the quality of the product up, and so they've also started doing. You're seeing a lot more of the sparkling Lambrusco like this one. Now this one, like I said, is also bottle aged, done in the they call it the traditional method or the method champagnois, which just means that the secondary fermentation is done in the bottle. And if we have time at the end, I'm not going to go over all that now. I would be more than happy to talk about how champagne is made and in the bottle and all the process that goes in. So.
That is a beautiful.
The
look at those
color,
tiny little bubbles.
it's like an amber.
So
It's
this
amber
is one of our
rosy
favorites.
color.
We've brought this wine. You can bring a couple bottles on most cruise lines, and we have selected this for 2 of the cruises that we've been on. It's a great summer wine. Not something that I would reach for in the middle of January when I'm about to go shovel snow, but in the middle of summer, this is one of our favorites. And this prices out at between $15 to $20.
And I got to be honest with you, the Lambruscos we've had over the last year or two, especially the ones we've tasted, have all been spot on. I don't think I've had a bad one yet.
This is my favorite. Yeah.
I tasted the fruit after.
Mhm.
So it was,
It's called the back.
Yeah,
palate,
yep,
the
yep, yep.
aftertaste.
This
Yes,
one's
yes,
sweeter
yes.
than the first.
That one meets
I
your
like
Sweet
this one a
Buds
lot.
profile? Okay.
Yes.
So I'm curious. I know what I taste when I taste this. I'm curious what fruit that jumps out at you the most. There's one that just jumps out at me from the beginning, from the get-go.
citrus. I'm tasting citrus. I don't know.
I'm
Strawberry?
almost like
Strawberry?
grapefruit, I feel like a little
I
bit.
might say apricot. A little, just a tad
I'll
bit
taste
of-
strawberry whenever
Yep.
I do it, but I'm gonna try it with some strawberry.
It's funny, we were just talking about that before you showed up at the studio, like if any of the rosé, was that rosé gonna be a strawberry leaning one, the one that I brought in? But my palate is tasting like more, a little bit more apricot or pear than the strawberry.
It's got all that.
Jeez, you guys are good.
Bobby is great at this.
It's
I gotta
what you
tell
taste.
We did some blind tasting on that last show, and you were nailing
I
it.
was
He like,
surprised.
this came from Spain. This is an aged wine. It was the one that was 10 years old.
I do think I know the Spanish wines pretty
You
well when
nailed
it comes to
Chardonnay
bottle.
right off the bat, but you knew it wasn't from California. Bobby was impressive on that last show.
Well, I gotta say, Rocky, this is very impressive. This is delicious.
I love
And
this
what's
one too.
interesting about some of this is, can this go with turkey? Because we've got Thanksgiving coming up. You're going to see this show, of course, in December, other holidays. But can you drink this with a turkey? Can
You
drink-
can. I probably wouldn't. I would maybe do this after the meal.
Yeah.
This is more of just
Or before.
Yeah, I would call this a summer quaffer. For turkey, and this is one of the most common questions that anybody ever asks, what do you serve for the holidays, in particular Thanksgiving? And what's difficult is that certain wines go with certain foods, but you've got such an amazing smorgasbord of different foods and different flavors, and so you want something that can be balanced out with all these different things. Champagne's the best thing. Pinot Noir if you want to go for a red, because they match. They don't perfectly match with everything, but they're the most neutral as far as food goes, so that would be my recommendation to anyone.
And salty, right? I see we were talking earlier.
Yes.
What did you find out about drinking bubbles?
Chips are the best, one of the best things. Peanuts, salty, maybe smoked fish or something like that.
But I think we're a little salty.
Yep.
Yep.
Salty foods tend to help to balance out the acidity in the wine, so it just makes the wine a little more palatable.
So maybe pre-Thanksgiving dinner, a little bubbly.
That would work for me.
Well, I got a
Someone-
thumbs up over here for that one. That was delicious.
Very good.
And that's available locally?
We got this at Bottle Stop. I believe they also sell it at Wise Old Dog. I don't know if they still sell it there. We used to get it there, but Bottle Stop in Avon.
Yep.
We got that there, so I
All
know
right.
there's still a few bottles left.
So 2 winners so far. Sarah, I think I'll have you pass me the next one. And this is my Delagroy. This is a French Rosé Brut. And as everybody knows who been watching the show all these years, I love my French wine. I love a French Rosé. And we were talking about this one earlier because Sarah looked at it, and I think Essie commented on it. Is this going to be strawberry forward? Now, I didn't get the strawberry in the Lambrusco, but I'm very curious to see if we're going to get it in this one because a lot of times French rosés, you do get a little bit of that strawberry right off the bat very quickly.
What's funny to me is that everybody has different things that they taste when they taste wine. And one person might taste strawberry, one person might taste some of the non-fruit, as they say, elements in wine. Like they'll say this one tastes kind of like they call it forest flora, like smoky or kind of dirt kind of thing when certain wines. And other people taste peach where somebody might taste apricot or apples. But there's really, when someone asks you what a wine tastes like and everybody's like, I don't want to give the answer, there's no such thing as a wrong answer. Whatever it tastes like to
Now,
you
you
is
might
what
be
it
interested in
tastes
this, Rock. This is a 100% Cab Franc.
like. Oh, wow, okay.
Yep.
Very cool. Where is this from?
It is a French rosé.
Let's see, Cremant.
Yes, you might be able to see it.
Probably
better, so-
from-
You see the location of that one?
Guessing from Loire if it's Cab Franc?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, this one, I get the aroma of the strawberry, but I don't get quite as big on the palate as I was expecting. What do you think? Anybody getting the strawberry?
I'm getting it after, not in the beginning.
I'm getting like a
Creamy. This tastes.
Yeah,
There's
it's
a
got like a-
creamy
It
or
does have a
something.
creamy. It
dark-
does.
it's
It
got
does.
like
I
a
was thinking
dark
that too.
cherry thing. Like you really have to search for it, but I can kind of taste like an overripe cherry.
Interesting.
In one side.
Once again, my palate might be a little bit different. I didn't get the cherry at all. It's a very light rosé. It looks actually darker in the bottle than it did when we poured it into the glass. But it is a brut, so it's still on the dry side. I'm sure this is not sweet enough for you, right?
I actually like this.
You do?
I do like this. Yes.
You can also pop a strawberry in it.
I do, but I don't think I've ever had anything pink that I don't like. Just saying.
You know, you're absolutely, you know, it sounds
I
funny,
think the
but
pink brings it a little sweeter.
in general, even though for me, I see pink, I don't always get the sweet because if I usually get something pink, it's still a brut. And of course, you can get pink if it doesn't say brut. But anything brut that I get that's pink, I tend to like, to me, at least especially if it's a brut.
Yeah, I get 3 things here: strawberry, peach, and watermelon.
Oh,
Probably in
watermelon.
that
Ooh,
order.
watermelon.
Wow.
Yep.
This one is also available locally. I can't exactly remember where I got this. I have 2 or 3 of these in the cellar, but it is available locally. I'm just not sure what store. Just look it up online. I think it's between the $13 and $17 range, depending on where you're
I think it's
picking it up.
delicious.
This is very good.
Yeah.
Very
But
good.
this is what I call perfect, especially like I said, the color. And Essie's we're gonna do some stuff later on the show that I think is gonna make people happy. And also Pop Rocks. We talked about the Pop Rocks.
Yeah, I got some Pop Rocks.
And then before we
And
had,
if one of our heads explodes, I've heard that that's what happens
Do
when
not
we
try
mix.
this at home.
I think you said you tried it at the
We are
Mayor's Ball.
rebels.
Yes, yes, yes.
And were anybody's heads exploding
No,
at the Mayor's Ball?
no, it was fine.
And I've seen the video. Everyone lived. Everyone was
I
laughing,
have
but
heard
they
of the
lived.
Pop Rocks. Where do you get Pop Rocks anyways?
Any candy stores.
They still sell
Candy
them.
stores, yeah.
I
oh,
know.
yeah.
Isn't that funny? They still sell them.
Now, do you put them in your mouth and then take the sip, or do you put them in the
No,
glass?
you can put them in the glass,
So it's like
and
a,
it fizzes up. And actually, here's another question, guys and lady. If you only, I don't know many people that will only drink a half a bottle of champagne, but how do you keep the effervescence in a champagne or a sparkling wine?
Put some Pop Rocks in it.
No, that works, number one, but
You're going past $1 million there.
a raisin.
And now you're in the
A
2 million.
raisin. You can put a raisin.
Just one?
And just one raisin, either in a whole bottle or in a glass. I watched it actually works. There's something about the carbon dioxide that gathers around the ridges of the raisin and forces it out again. And it really, it
very
causes more bubbles. It may not enhance the flavor, so the flavor may be a little off, but it does definitely give you that bubbly. So if you've got some sparkling wine or champagne, and it's
Well-
3 or 4 days old, and it's a little flat when you pour it. Pop in a
I was
raisin.
just going to say, I wonder how
If
long,
you don't have
how
Pop
much
Rocks
life it
available.
adds
The
to it.
only thing I'll say about that, Essie, unfortunately in our social group, there's very rarely any champagne
Thank you.
So
That's right. That's right.
What is
I
that
have
like?
never
I don't
experienced
know.
it myself, but I mean, some people might.
If you're more responsible people, if you can't finish your whole bottle,
Right.
let's try the raisin.
All right, try the raisin. It's
So
interesting.
If I could wager a guess on why that works, it's because the reason that the bubbles form is because sugar combines with yeast and it creates alcohol, and the byproduct is carbon dioxide.
Yes,
That's what
yes,
creates the
yep.
bubbles. So you're adding more sugar in, and there's probably still some yeast.
And it
left
gathers
in there
around the
that you
ridges
can-
of the raisin, and
that
then
you
it
can
it
combine with,
it,
and
it
boom.
literally forces it up again,
I
which is
also want to
kinda
know,
cool.
I've always heard, and I've never tried this, is that if you put raisin in champagne, it will go down and then back up and then down and back up.
Oh,
Have you
that's
heard
fun.
that?
We need
You
to
guys never
try
heard
that. We need to try.
We'll try it sometime.
It's interesting that it only takes one raisin.
But it only
Yes,
works in
yes.
certain types, and
Yep.
I believe it doesn't work in. Like sparkling wine that's made in what's called the soda method, which is basically you put it
correct.
in a tank and you infuse CO2 in it.
Right,
Which
right.
Now, we have an actual real champagne coming up. In the past holiday shows, we've had one or two real champagnes. So I'm looking forward to this one. This one Rocky also brought in. Rocky, please, Phil, tell us about it.
So I have had a lot of. This is Costco, which is, by the way, the #1 retailer of wine in the United States. Is Costco, and their signature label is called Kirkland. I've had many of the Kirkland wines, and of probably the 6 or 7 that I've had, 5 of them have been awful to the point that we dumped it out. This one, I was shocked at the fact that, champagne is very expensive, and I was worried that if you're at the price point here, we're talking between $19 and $21 for champagne.
Which is about as low as you can get for a
Incredibly-
champagne.
That's the lowest I've ever paid for champagne, and so I was really worried that it was going to be terrible. And then I tasted it, and I was pleasantly surprised. But I'm certainly not one that's going to give Kirkland across the board with their wines like the thumbs up. I think we should do a Kirkland show sometime.
I agree with
That
you.
would
That
be
would be
fun, because
hilarious.
they are hit or miss.
Yeah.
Because I've shopped there.
One thing off the bat, and maybe the ladies will get this or not, but this smells like a champagne.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
As soon as
I was gonna say,
you
just
pass me the bottle.
And what you mean by that is probably it's got like a bread
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing.
This one has a lot of bubbles.
Yes.
I think they're bigger
Brilliant
too.
too,
They're
Ranger.
bigger
That's-
bubbles. I think they're bigger bubbles.
This is definitely bready. This is what I enjoy actually in a champagne. A lot of times the more expensive champagnes, I actually don't like things
Yeah.
in the $50 to $100
Yeah.
range. They're just a little too overpowering for me. I think when it comes to the yeastiness and so forth.
Yeah.
This is a very temperate champagne.
Mm-hmm.
So, because this is delicious.
So
It's delicious.
one of the things that makes champagne expensive as compared to some of the other ones is they do something called lees aging. So the yeast that is, I was saying earlier, you combine the yeast with the sugar and alcohol is created, and then once the yeast is done, it's essentially spent. It's called lees, and it's just this like thing that floats on the top, and they scrape it off or they want to remove it out. However, with champagne, sometimes they leave it with the lees, and it does something called autolysis, which means it just kind of it explodes, and it creates a bready brioche kind of flavor. And so in order to do that, in order to age it in the bottle and then secondary fermentation and then age it on the lees, it becomes a very expensive product to make. Now I think Costco, because they're buying in such bulk, they can afford to do that and still charge around the $20 price range and get this bready
Yeah, they
thing
don't.
that
There's
we're
no. It's a
tasting.
no frills label on it too, because labels are expensive on bottles too.
That's about as
So
no frills
it's
as
no
come.
frills,
That-
but you're getting a
that
real
red
champagne.
Kirkland signature thing. So
I
but I'll
would-
tell you
This
what.
is good. I would buy
What do you
this.
taste in this?
The thing that stands out the most is the bread. But
Gingerbread, it says. Gingerbread.
I would buy
That's
that. Yeah.
so appropriate for the holidays.
Interesting. To me, it's more sourdoughy, a little bit more like the sourdough
Yeah.
bread family.
But I mean, for
But
fruit, it's
delicious.
apple, green apple. It's champagne's made with Chardonnay, and so it's everything you would expect out of. Well, some of it's also made with Pinot Noir or Pinot Meunier. I seriously doubt that this one is. I should probably have checked this out. Oh, it is. This is made with Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Pinot Meunier. 3 different grapes. Okay.
Delicious. Now listen,
Okay.
you have some things to
Okay.
say
I
about
want
this
to see.
little
I want to
bottle.
see if Rocky can determine what this is
still
after
drinking, so let him
after
know.
he's
Too
okay.
much, that's
So
the problem.
you
I'm
start
never
on
the last
that
one
end,
to
and
sip
then
any
we will
social
take that off.
endangerment.
But
And this is your find, Essie, right? This is not-
yes.
and how did you come across this one?
Because it's a unique color. There's some little filaments in it that I'll show you when we take off.
It's sparkling from over here, actually.
It's got tiny bubbles.
Tiny.
There was an article written about this. Is this the one that came up on Facebook or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So taste it, and then you tell me what.
So I'm supposed to be.
Oh, this is good.
It is definitely sweeter. This
Yes,
is your
this
kind
is
of.
mine. This is for me.
I don't think this is sweeter.
I think it tastes sweeter to me,
Oh,
maybe
me
because
too.
I've had the dry.
This is an aftertaste, though. It hits you after
Okay.
seconds after you had it.
I mean, I get like
Why
a
do I-
blueberry thing.
I'm getting like vanilla.
Blackberry.
Do you remember Liebfraumilch?
Do not.
Blue Nun, 24 karat gold, and there's actually gold filaments in the champagne.
Wow.
Well, and so the gold flakes, which are totally edible.
Yeah.
Although if you go into an airport, I'd be careful. I don't know if you would set off the metal detectors, but
Why'd you put that right in the middle?
but
People can see
it's
the
very cool. And
So we're basically drinking Goldschlager.
you remember that?
champagne.
Remember that? Right. So that's why I had
Remember
the
that?
cover
I
on
had
it
3
because of
shots of
Blue
Goldschlager
Nun.
before
If
the
you
show
if you
tonight.
recall Blue Nun with the Liebfraumilch from years, it's German. So here we go. We've got.
If I was doing blind tasting, I would not have gotten that.
Thank you.
Not a
Oh,
bad one.
good. So then I don't.
So I said blueberry and blackberry. What am I supposed to taste in this? Did you read the vintner's notes?
And
what they
I
said
don't know,
was-
but a name like Blue Nun, I remember it from college days.
And what's
so.
the price point? Is?
This one's a little more expensive because it's the 24 karat. So it was 22. So
It's still not
That's not
bad.
bad.
That's
That's
not
not
bad at all.
This can
and
hold
it's
its own
fun,
against some
isn't
of the
it fun?
same price
Like for
category.
New Year's Eve or for celebrating something special, you've got the little gold flakes in it.
In that price category, it can hold its own easily.
Yeah.
No problem at all.
Absolutely.
But this isn't stocked locally.
Actually, Maximum Beverage ordered it for me. So
Now, Essie,
They're going to get a lot of calls now.
you brought something in, because I think we still have time for it, that is also another great thing to do for the holidays.
right.
Which
So
I don't generally do, but I'm looking forward to seeing how
so
it's done.
if you have, we can pour a little more of this.
You don't have to twist my arm, Essie.
Okay, there you go. Try a little more.
Yeah.
So if you want to enhance your cocktail, this is actually blue curacao. It's a liqueur. It's an orange liqueur. And if you pour it down the side, and I hope this works, because it's a little bit heavier, it should sink to the bottom of the glass. And look how pretty that is.
Yes, that is.
So it just makes your cocktail a little bit different, a little bit special with a little hint of orange in it.
May I?
And
Yes,
it's,
you
even
may.
though it's blue, it's got an orange flavor to it.
Yes, it's an orange flavor liqueur. Yes.
Is it a low alcohol liqueur? Is it like a medium 30?
12%.
That's it? Just 12%?
Yes. And look at how pretty that is. So.
Yes, it's
And you got a gold leaf in yours.
And he got the gold leaf. That's very pretty.
That's it. You're going to get tanked now. One taste of the gold leaf.
It's very pretty. So that little bit of enhancement can make it a little bit special.
All right.
Very cool.
So what is going to be our best in
Would you like
class
some?
winner gets to take, I think. Oh, go ahead.
See, here's where I feel bad because I don't want to select the one that I brought, and I brought 2 of them. So.
Well, I have my favorite. I know I'm not going to hesitate to pick the one that I like the best. No, they're all good. So I think people who are watching the show, you've been watching the show for years, God bless you. We generally don't have too many dogs in the show. Occasionally in the past, the dogs have been me that I picked. This time, though, on the Bubble Show, there is not one dog. Every Bubbles on this show
Even the Blue Nun?
has been the Blue Nun is probably the biggest surprise.
Isn't it? Is it?
Because like I said, in that price point, if you had told me it could have been a number of bubbles in that price range, I think that was really good. And I don't like sweet bubbles or sparkling.
I don't either.
It was by far my favorite.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
good.
a number 1.
Okay.
This one's
Oh,
a number
that's
2
so
for
funny.
me. very good.
Good.
So I'm sorry, Sarah, your number one was
Essie's.
Essie, okay?
And my number 2 is this one.
Only one
But if
gets-
Essie didn't bring that, this one would have been my number 1.
Only one gets the best in glass, so, Essie?
You know what?
The Lambrusco.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I have to go. I
I'm
mean, that's-
shocked.
That one's
If
got-
you had told me Lambrusco, I would have went, "Ooh," but
They've come a long way since the
Really?
Reunion on Ice.
right.
I gotta say,
and
Rocky,
Blue Nun,
I
the
agree
same.
with you, and I have been such a big fan of Lambrusco bubbles lately that, and I went into this very open-minded, so I'm really being honest. The Lambrusco bubbles is a knockout.
Well, let's go. You got to put this right.
Yes.
Best in
Right in
glass.
front of
Oh,
that,
there
and
you
then they have to
go.
get a close up. I'm only saying this because that's the one that I brought.
And what's great about this is
I
for the
feel like a
people who
winner.
like a red wine and they like our bubbles, this is going to satisfy that palate because you get your red,
Yeah.
you get the bubbles, and I think it's just a great all-around sparkling to drink for any occasion.
Yeah. If you're a beer drinker, in particular a sour beer drinker, this would be a good transition for you too.
So the remaining couple minutes, what are you guys doing for the holidays? Essie?
We're going to be celebrating my daughter's engagement. So I'm going to be bringing the Blue Nun. I'm bringing some of that to Thanksgiving, and we're gonna have a good time with that.
You're gonna knock it out.
It'll
of the
be
park. Yeah.
fun.
And you have a good story to tell in that you came on air, WHCTV, WHCI,
At the HCI yet?
and learned about a new.
Yes, yes. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
And Sarah, you're keeping it close to home?
I am with family.
Awesome.
Yep,
I think
with
both
family.
of us are doing that, right, Rocky?
Just keeping it close to home.
Keeps home
just,
and all that
just
stuff.
gonna, yeah.
And I think Rocky and I,
no fanfare.
we
That's
also
my
want to thank
favorite.
everybody for, once again, I want to thank Rocky for being my new co-host. Jim up in Boston, I'm actually going to go visit Jim in December. And he's going to try to come down and do a guest shot with us when he gets a chance.
Very cool.
But I want to thank Rocky once again. You're a great co-host, and looking forward to 2020. Going into our 10th year almost, our next Bubble Show will be our 10th Bubble Show. So
Well, I'll tell you what, if
Wow.
Jim can make it down for the 10th anniversary,
yeah, well, he'll make it down.
I'll gladly shift to the middle and allow him to have the co-host.
Well,
stand
we're going to make
over
it down.
here.
We're going to do a little
That
party
would be-
too. We're going to have a good time, and that'll be a big deal. I can't believe it's been that long.
That's
It's
insane.
gone by fast.
Yeah.
And I think we added up one time. I think we're well over 60 bottles of wine that we drank on the show in the last 9 years.
wow.
So, I want to thank you guys for watching, and please have a happy and healthy New Year, holiday, everything. And once again, I'm Bobby P.
I'm Rocky Hall.
And until next 2020, keep all of us.